Don't distract me, Darren.
Oh, your stance is all wrong.
Oh,
Pathetic.
you distracted me. You're not meant to talk. It's meant to be a quiet game of golf.
Bajo, I think I speak for both of us when I say that sport isn't exactly a strength of ours.
Agreed.
Least of all golf, which I think I've played IRL maybe like once. But with a controller in my hand, I definitely feel more comfortable. And that's how we tackled Tiger Woods PGA Tour 14. First things first, you'll need to create your golfer. Now, I work hard to make my characters look as much like me as possible, but Bajo, how do you explain this?
Purple mustache, crazy lips. Golf is pretty serious, so you have to lighten the mood where you can, Hex.
Yeah, but you look scary.
You do look rather terrifying, Bajo.
Mission accomplished.
What about you, Darren? You can't really make your character look like you, I suppose.
Negative. There are no robot customization options. I simply chose randomize until I arrived at a visage I deemed aesthetically appealing.
Pretty dashing, but let's get to the game. If you're unsure of what new features have been added to this latest golfing adventure, the game plays a kind of trailer for itself before you start, which felt a bit odd. I mean, I've already got the game, you don't need to sell it to me, but I suppose it was quite helpful because a lot of those new features tend to get lost in all those complicated menus.
Once you've gone through the tutorial and created your character, it's time to start your career. You can play through all 4 of golf's major championships, otherwise referred to as the majors.
You can select from a number of pins to give you a few buffs out on the course, and either play through a training mode practicing against an AI opponent, or just get stuck into progressing through your career.
I liked that you could tailor your golfer's swing to make it feel unique to your own play style. You could choose to be a controlled golfer with a focus on accuracy, or a power golfer who hits stronger shots to gain more distance on the green. Charging my 2-wood. You could also adjust things like draw and fade, which determine whether you tend to curve the ball to the left or to the right.
Yes, and they are quite easy to do, but also tricky to master, and I think that's what golf is like in real life too.
This system has been refined a lot since the last game, which is good, but having a good swing isn't enough. There are also wind conditions to consider, the slope of the green, and if you don't line up that shot correctly, you could find yourself in the rough. Or worse, in the sand.
You just need to focus on your control more, Hex, not so much overswing. Plus, I found it useful to do a flyby of the course first, just so I could get a precise idea of where I wanted my ball to end up.
Yeah, thanks for the tip, Darren, but you can't talk. You hit some poor guy in the leg.
Well, he shouldn't have been so close to where my ball was going to land. It's a dangerous sport, golf.
I always like the first part of the game the most, where you're just hitting the ball as hard as you can. I do not have the patience for putting. Come on, come on, come on, come on, no! Just get in! Stupid ball! Oh, finally!
Yeah, and the crowd are always so devastated when you miss on the putting green as well, aren't they? Quiet, yes, I know, I'll get it in, just give me a sec.
Just like last year's entry, Tiger 14 also has support for Kinect and PlayStation Move, and we checked it out with the Kinect. I especially liked the little touches, such as crouching down to study the lay of your ball on the green, or looking off to the distance to survey the course.
Yeah, when it comes to actually aiming your shot and swinging the club, though, I found the Kinect had a lot of trouble registering my movement without bugging out, flipping through menus, and occasionally taking my shot for me.
Yes, and it's particularly difficult to use when you need to make those minor adjustments on the green, which you do by waving your fist in front of you. I guess it could be fun for some multiplayer shenanigans, but it felt a bit gimmicky to me, especially as the controller options are so dead on. One thing I did have a lot of fun with, though, was the Legends of the Majors mode. This lets you go back in time and complete famous tournaments from as far back as 1873 all the way through to present day. Many of them are locked to begin with, but they've unlocked a decent few throughout the timeline to give you a taste of each era, which is nice.
And it's such a clever visual touch to make each time period look authentic too, with sepia tones and scratchy film like an old movie for the 30s, the greenish hue of the Technicolor 50s film, and the muted browns of the 70s.
We had a decent go of the online multiplayer, but it's a slow waiting game, waiting for others to take their turn, and we got over it fairly quickly. Also, we couldn't access a lot of the modes because we hadn't purchased the course from the shop, which was a bit annoying.
Final thoughts, Badge?
Well, I think the interface could have been a bit neater, but I think it's better than the last game, so I'm going to give it 7.
Yeah, I like that they've really refined the style for fans of golf, but also kept it simple enough for newcomers to learn. So I'm giving it 7.5.
Right, well, we should go answer some questions at the Ask Good Game desk.
Yes.
Look after the studio, Darren.
Affirmative. And I'll be standing by on the phones.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that badger out of your sound trap?